Hey guys, Shane here. Before we get started on today's podcast, I wanted to make a quick announcement. You know, next month is November. Next month means Black Friday and Cyber Monday are coming. These are two of the biggest, most important marketing opportunities on any business owner's calendar every year. It's called Black Friday because that's the day that most companies go into the black. They become profitable because everybody's out looking for a deal. Everybody's looking to spend money. Everybody's looking to buy those things they may have put off throughout the year. We want you to have a successful Black Friday too. Next month's issue of Prolific Monthly, my top shelf marketing print newsletter, a newsletter that I actually mailed to your door, is going to be 100% focused on helping you have the best Black Friday sale ever. So if you're launching your product or you want to make more sales or you want to really blow up this amazing marketing opportunity on the calendar, you need to subscribe. We normally only open the cart for Prolific Monthly for new subscribers for a couple of days each month. But I'm opening it early this month because we want you to subscribe today. We want you to get the next issue of Prolific Monthly in your hands before November so you can prepare for Black Friday through Cyber Monday. Inside of this month's Prolific Monthly is going to be a daily calendar for every single day in November to tell you exactly what to work on, exactly how to promote your products, exactly how to promote your services, and help you be prepared for the biggest opportunity of the year. All you have to do to subscribe is go to flippedlifestyle.com/PM. That's Prolific Monthly, PM, flippedlifestyle.com/PM. Just 2 letters at the end of the domain name. And that will take you directly to Prolific Monthly's website where you can learn more about my marketing newsletter. Don't put this off. Don't miss out on having an amazing Black Friday through Cyber Monday experience. Go to flippedlifestyle.com/PM today and sign up so that we can get that mailed to your door. Prolific Monthly goes to print on October 21st. If you do not sign up before October 21st, you will not be able to get the November edition of Prolific Monthly, so make sure you sign up now. All right, that's all I got. Let's get on with the show.
Hey, y'all, we have no idea where we're headed with today's podcast, so let's see where it goes.
Welcome to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now, we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast today. Hope you all are having a great day, a great week, a great month, and about to finish off the year and the decade strong. Jocelyn and I are coming to you live. Well, not really live. We're recording this, but we're in our bedroom hanging out, and we looked at each other a few minutes ago and said, what are we going to talk about today? And we realized that of all the things we wrote down, we have absolutely no idea where today's show is going to go.
So if this is your first time listening to the show, this is a little bit different than what we normally do. We don't normally just get on the microphone and start spewing out a bunch of random stuff.
Words, all the time. But we're going to talk about a lot of things today. We're going to talk about our live event, Flip Your Life Live, that just happened. We're going to talk about quitting our job 6 years ago. We just had our 6-year anniversary of becoming and staying self-employed. And we're just going to talk about some changes that we're making both in our business and here on the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. This is kind of a behind the scenes episode. We talked to a lot of people at our live event last month, and they said they really loved it when they got to peek behind the curtain. They got to see what we were doing in our own business, not just hear us answering questions. So we wanted to start having a few more of these behind the scenes episodes so you guys can see what's happening in our life and our business and maybe get a little information that you can use in your own business. So first, let's talk about some changes that are happening in the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. We've been going on now. How long has our podcast been on?
We actually just passed our 5th anniversary, which we totally just let pass by and didn't even mention it on the podcast.
So we've been podcasting the Flip Lifestyle Podcast for 5 years now?
Yeah, we started, I believe, in August of 14.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
August of 19 would be our 5th year. We have over 300 episodes.
Yeah, and we actually have a lot more than 300 episodes of actual podcasts because Jocelyn and I have recorded other things. Like we did some Q&A interviews with experts there for a while. We stopped doing that after about 20 or 30 of those. We did a Q&A podcast of our own where we were having Q&As individually, people calling in and answering questions. So we've probably actually recorded recorded how many? 400,
Oh, goodness,
500?
I have
Yeah,
no
different
idea.
podcasts.
We recorded a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we've said a lot of words since 2014. And when we started our podcast, when we started doing Flipped Lifestyle, at first it was just a solo show. Jocelyn and I were talking for the first 10 to 20 episodes to each other. We talked about our business, how we grew our business, how we were able to quit our jobs in just 13 months. And we started just revealing all of the tips and tactics and strategies and struggles and things that we were going through in our business. As we became more successful and as we became known as experts in this space, we started to branch out. We thought about doing an interview style podcast where we brought on experts and they talked about their business and they talked about what they were doing. But we realized that a lot of those types of shows were becoming pitch fests. People were coming on and they were giving a little bit of surface information, but it was really just to sell something at the end of the show. And we didn't feel like that was the direction where we wanted to go, because our goal is to literally help as many people as possible become and stay self-employed and quit their jobs and take control of their life and their time, just like we did. So we decided that we would bring on real members of our Flip Your Life community onto the show, and we would just answer their questions, and we would help them overcome mindset struggles and help them get past all of the struggles and obstacles and issues that they were dealing with so that they could achieve their goals, they could achieve their dream. We wanted to not just be an interview show, but an interview show where people took action and really went to the next level right there on air, and then we would let people listen in. And at the time, this was really kind of innovative. Nobody else was doing this.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone else in this space at that time who was doing this type of show. Now you will find a lot of people doing this type of show. And, that's fine. We just think that it's an interesting way to serve our audience, and then also to be able to have people listen in and see what they need help with and what's similar in their business. And it's been really cool. I mean, we've really enjoyed all the different people we've been able to talk to and just help them with their business, help them move it forward. And there have been some major successes and just really cool things to come from that.
And over all of that time, we've talked to hundreds of different people, hundreds of guests, hundreds of members of the Flip Your Life community, and really helped them take their business and their life to the next level. But during that time, we've also had a lot of other ideas. We want to do more shows like these solo shows where it's just me and Jocelyn talking to you guys. We never want you guys to think we've got it all figured out. We're constantly having conversations about growing our business, constantly trying to figure out new strategies, sometimes even just figuring out the direction that we're both trying to go in. Before we got on this podcast, we went to school and dropped the kids off at school, and it's about a 30-minute drive back by the time we go, do different things. And Jocelyn and I were just talking like, what's our new mission statement? Like, what is our mission statement? Like, how are we going to go into the next decade, the next year, and really be on the same page and really try to figure out exactly what we're trying to do? Like, how can we refine it better, get it down to one sentence? And needless to say, we are not there yet. We have not got it down to the one sentence thing, and we're going back and forth on different ideas, and Jocelyn wanted to do one thing and I wanted to do another, and we haven't got it all figured out.
The 30 minutes were definitely not enough time to have that conversation.
Not at all.
So, it was good, though, because I think some good things came out of it. We have sort of an idea of where each person wants to go in the future. And I think that once we do finally get it together, like, it's going to be something really cool. But for right now, we're just in that phase where we're kind of playing a little bit of tug of war. I want this, you want that. And when you have two people in business and then they're also married, you can imagine what kind of turmoil that can cause.
Good conversation. It's good conversation, Jocelyn.
Yes.
So I think what we want to do today is basically go through three things. We want to look back at Flip Your Life Live. We talked about that earlier. We want to talk about, reflecting back on us quitting our own job, what that means for us going to the future now that we have pretty much created I don't know what to call it, like a dynamo in our business that keeps going. Money does come in every day because we have lots of recurring revenue, and we want to grow that and we want to build that, but we want to talk about that a little bit and really some changes that we're making here on the podcast to make it better. All right, so first let's talk about the podcast. As you have probably noticed over the past couple of weeks, there's been a change in format in the podcast. Okay, we still are doing our interviews, right? We're bringing back some of our most popular episodes from the past. We're calling these our best of edition of the Flipped Lifestyle podcast. They're coming out on Saturday, and we're letting some of our, I don't want to call them reruns. They're not really, they're reruns. It's the same podcast that we, did a couple years ago, but we're bringing some of those back up to the surface. Now
we're resurfacing.
We're resurfacing them. And the reason we're doing that is twofold. One, A lot of you are new listeners to the podcast. You know, our podcast is growing. We've got different people listening, more people listening, and we want to make sure that you don't miss some of these gems from the past. We want to bring up success stories. We want to bring back really good conversations, and we want you to hear our interviews with our members so that you can get all that information. Another thing is iTunes and, it's not iTunes anymore. Apple Podcasts has really changed the way their algorithm works. They've changed how their podcast feed works. And, you know, we've done so many podcasts. You know, we're up in the 300s. We'll be in the 400s very soon. Apple has changed the way that they're actually showing podcasts in your feed. And if you have 200 episodes or more, the episodes over 200 actually roll out so people can't even find this incredible information in the Apple Podcast system. So we are bringing some of those back up to the front so that they go back into the feed. They can be searched for in Apple Podcasts, and people can actually find these older episodes that are still really, really super relevant and have a lot of great information to help you with your online business.
And I listened back to actually a few of these, and I enjoyed them myself. You know, I was on the podcast, but I didn't remember it because it's been so long ago. So I would definitely not overlook those, even if you've been listening to our show for years, because we're really trying to pick something that we think is going to give you a lot of value.
Another thing that Jocelyn and I really wanted to do was reach more people with our podcast. We've always kind of envisioned the show almost like a call-in show, kind of like Dave Ramsey's show where people call in, ask budget questions, ask financial questions. Dave answers them right on the radio show, and then they move on. But as we've gone to this one-on-one format over the last couple of years, it really limits the scope of what we can do actually on the podcast. Jocelyn and I host 2 Q&As every month inside of the Flip Your Life community for our premium members, and we answer 15 to 20 questions that people have in real time. This has always been done in the past on a chat box. People come in, they type their question, Jocelyn reads the question, and then we answer the question together. And this is really good because it's rapid fire. We can help a lot of people really, really fast. Everyone who's listening to the call gets to take action on the information, and we can serve a lot of people really quickly. Recently, we actually switched the technology that we're using. We used to do them on YouTube Live, but YouTube changed how they were doing their lives, and we didn't like to do that format anymore. And it kind of killed our chat room style format of doing Q&As. So now we're using a tool called Zoom, which lets you do a video conference call. And we have all of our members inside of a Zoom room, and we can actually click on their face. We can see them on camera. We can hear their voice. They get to actually talk to us, give us a little background, tell us where they're struggling, and then we get to have a conversation back with them. As we listened to this new format, we were listening back to our Q&As. We thought, man, this would be amazing if people could listen into this on the podcast. So what we are doing now is we are taking 5 of the best questions from each of these Q&As, and we are editing them into podcast episodes. It's going to sound a lot like our solo episodes. You're going to hear us talking to real members of the Flip Your Life community. They're going to be asking their questions to us. We're going to be telling them their answers back. But you get to hear a lot more questions. You get to get a lot more value. You get a lot more information on each show so that you can take more action in your business, so that you can get more answers that you need help with and move forward to your next steps. So we're going to start releasing 2 of these Q&A episodes every single month right here on the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. And we think it's going to give you guys a lot more value, a lot more information, and help you succeed so much faster.
And one of the other things that we're also going to be doing is coming to you in this format. So just Shane and myself talking about some different things. In the past, we've done teaching type of podcasts. This is going to be a little bit different. We're just going to sit down and talk to you about what's on our minds. And that's actually a lot. You know, a lot of things have changed since we first started in 2012 and we started our podcast in 2014. And you know, we are definitely not without struggles, and we want to let you guys know that. We don't want to sit here looking like the, almighty
know-it-all gurus.
Yes, and we're definitely not those people. We have struggles and questions just like you guys do, and we want to sort of bring more of that to the forefront and just kind of let you hear what's on our minds at least once a month or so.
So this one's a little random. This episode, what we're doing is a little random, but most of the time, probably what we'll do is Jocelyn and I will come on and we'll ask ourselves the same questions that we ask our guests. You know, what mindset struggles are we going through right now? What's the biggest obstacle that we're facing? What do we think we need to do next? Do we even know what we need to do next? Sometimes me and Jocelyn may just have a talk about our business, and that could get interesting because, you know, we may disagree or we may agree.
We may disagree.
Yeah, we probably will disagree.
We will definitely disagree.
Yeah. So this is going to be a kind of a behind-the-scenes episode each month, just to let you guys know not only what we're doing in real time, right? Some ideas that we might have that we could pass along, or something we've read, some great quote or something like that, but really just having a discussion and going through these obstacles and struggles together. Now, we are not abandoning our normal format. Once a month and every best of edition of the podcast will still be a single guest from the Flip Your Life community who we are going to highlight, who we are going to help go to the next level. And we may even bring on some big success stories to show you guys what is possible if you start, build, and grow your own business and become and stay self-employed.
And we are still going to talk to people even now. The main reason that we wanted to change up a little bit is because, first of all, we have so much content. We have a huge back catalog now. And so it just made sense for us to start bringing those things back up because we do have some really amazing people doing some really cool things, and we want to bring those back up for you. And then also, it keeps us from having to schedule so many things. So right now, you know, our calendar is a little crazy, and it's hard for us sometimes to be able to schedule with people for the podcast because sometimes people are in different time zones, or sometimes they work during the day or whatever, and it just makes it a little bit difficult for us to make a schedule. We have to do that week after week, and especially if we want to get ahead, you know, we have to do like 5 or 6 in a week, and that's really hard on me as an introvert. So we're going to try to avoid some of the scheduling conflicts and also bring up some really cool back catalog stuff.
Yeah, and when we talked about this, we were like, how can we talk to more people in less time? And we basically said we could do one big case study, one focused case study on a single member who is doing something exceptional. We've had a lot of people lately, guys, start crossing the 1,000-member mark. People who started from scratch 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and they've got 500 members, 1,000 members, and they're really growing an amazing business. Some of our people in our community are passing us in revenue, are passing us in the number of members they have. And their businesses are growing and their audiences are growing. I was just talking to an awesome original member of the Flip Your Life community last night, and he had sent me a message and was like, hey, I haven't been able to catch up with you in a while. And I was like, what's going on in your life? And he was telling me how successful his business is. His podcast is like one of the top 10 podcasts on iTunes in personal finance.
Yeah, and Shane comes and he's like, hey, this person is doing this and this. I'm like, that's amazing. I'm like, maybe he should coach us.
Right, yeah. And I was like, but he's just killing it and crushing it, and they've really like struck lightning in a bottle with what they're doing. And he was like, hey, I was like, hey, man, you need to come tell that on the podcast to inspire the community. And he's like, oh, I'd be happy to do that. And I'm like, all right. I was like, well, we're really busy right now. I'll call you back in like 3 or 4 weeks. And he sends me a message and he laughed and he said, he goes, normally people are like moving their schedule around. It's good to be treated like a normal person because they're like trying to get him on their show. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'll get you in before the new year. Like, whatever. So it was just a good conversation and just people doing incredible things. Like think about 1,000 people paying you $50 to $100 a month. Like, that's insane success. And we wanted to highlight some of those case studies for you guys so that you can see that and so we can talk to them about how they're growing their business and take it to the next level too.
And as we go along, let us know how you're liking this. I mean, send us a message and let us know what you think about the podcast. We are definitely always open to changing. We changed formats several times. We try different things and see if they work, and we just evaluate it. You know, does the audience like it? Are we getting more downloads? And based on those things that you tell us, your feedback and the download numbers, you know, we make more changes. So this may not be a permanent change. We're trying it out and just see what happens.
And that's a good point, though. I mean, Jocelyn, I want you to, like Jocelyn said, you know, a lot of people are like, well, I'm going to ask my audience exactly what they want and try to do that next. Jocelyn and I are flipping that upside down. We do things and then we see if you like it. So we're not scared to take a risk. We're not scared to change our podcast format. We want to do it and see what happens instead. Because if you start asking a bunch of people, you get too many cooks in the kitchens. You know what I'm saying? You get too many chiefs in the tent. And we're not really asking people's opinions on what we should do in our business, because as we evaluated this, we said, hey, what's going to make it where we can serve more people and make it easier on us at the same time. And guys, it's hard doing interviews every single week for 5 years. Like, we want to freshen it up, so we're not getting bored. So we're staying excited about our business. So we're not just in a rut and in a routine and doing the same thing over and over again. We wanted to have some different things happen in our business. So we decided to change this. But when I told Jocelyn, I was like, hey, what if we did these 3 things? She looked at me and said, what if people stop listening? What if the downloads go down? What if it does something different?
But
and there
we
was some
won't
fear
know
there.
until
we try it.
We try it out. So we're going to try it. Let us know what you think, and we'll see what happens.
We've also got one more podcast that we're going to do. One thing we want to do is get more of our trainings out there, even though these are going to be like raw and real and kind of off the cuff. Every few months or so, we're going to start releasing trainings from the Flip Your Life Blueprint. That's our proprietary course that we have inside of the Flip Your Life community that shows you exactly how we started, built, and grew our online business. And we're going to start letting some of those come out on the podcast. So if you look at the calendar, some months have a 5th week. Sometimes there's a 5th Tuesday in a month, just how the calendar falls, like when the first day of the month is, things like that. And what we're going to do is, in months that have a 5th week, we're going to release a training. We're going to release a actual Flip Your Life Blueprint training. We're going to bring the audio, edit it up, and put it on the podcast in its entirety so that you actually can get a full-blown course right here on the podcast sometimes. And these are our best courses. These are our most popular courses. These are the courses that we have watched thousands of people use to start, build, and grow their own online business. And we're actually going to release some of those on the podcast in 2020. And I think we've got one coming up pretty soon this month.
So for you Southerners, you Southern churchgoers, it's sort of like the 5th Sunday singing and dinner.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Except
right.
it's the 5th Sunday
It's the 5th Tuesday.
training.
It's the 5th Tuesday training. That works. There's 2 T's in there. So we'll go with that. Okay?
Yeah, it's sort of like that. So look for that, and then also look for us to do some more live trainings. We're going to jump in and do some live stuff. We've got some big ideas for 2020 we're really excited about.
Like public live trainings. We're going to have some public workshops. We're going to have more workshops in the Flip Your Life community. That's something that we're going to be adding in, where we can expand our content and grow the Flip Your Life Blueprint and really go deep on some topics in marketing and getting, business growth. We're trying to build a team, so we're going to talk a lot about team building going forward. And there's going to be a lot of cool things happening. We're changing things up, adding a lot of new content on the show. All right, so that takes care of the podcast. Thanks for bearing with us. We're just trying to let y'all know. We're just trying to keep you in the loop because you're family, and we want to make sure that you know what we're doing, okay? So that's what we're doing with our podcast. In the future, let's talk a little bit about the past. Jocelyn and I just came off of Flip Your Life Live. Man, what an amazing, exhausting, exciting, crazy weekend of just seeing 100 people in the Flip Your Life community get on airplanes from like 25 different states, 5 different countries, fly to Lexington, Kentucky to basically be locked in a room together for 72 hours and really take their business to the next level. Flip Your Life Live 2 was an amazing success. I mean, minute by minute, we couldn't have asked for a better experience. Our live event coordinator was awesome. All the people were amazing. And we just wanted to, kind of reflect on that for a few minutes and talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the future of Flip Your Life Live. A lot of you have sent us messages like, wow, I really wish I could have came. I can't believe you're not going to be doing it in 2020. And, when are you going to do it again? What's going to happen with live events in the future? How are you going to be getting out and hanging out with the community? And so we want to talk a little bit about that today. So, Jocelyn, what do you think went well with the live event? What was the good about the live event, the thing that was awesome?
Oh, my goodness. There were so many good things. Like, first of all, we brought it to our home state of Kentucky, which is really cool. A lot of the people that I talked to had never even been in the state of Kentucky before. So that was really exciting that we could sort of just bring them in and show them that Kentucky has a lot of things to offer. I know people went on horse park tours. People went on bourbon tours. They did several different things. I think some people went in Rupp Arena, maybe.
Yeah, somebody broke into Rupp Arena and took a picture on the court. But I know nothing if the law comes after you. But we after the live event, me and Chris Greenwood, who was our MC, one of my best friends in the world, just did an amazing job at the event and flew down from Canada just to help us, have a successful event. Me and him were walking around downtown Lexington, and after the show, man, people were everywhere. People were enjoying downtown Lexington, and they kept coming up to us and saying, wow, thank you for introducing us to Lexington, Kentucky. And so that was a really big win. It was just an amazing event, down in Lexington. And, places like Lexington don't always get live events like this because people want to go to San Diego or Nashville and they want to focus on the big cities. And
yeah, it's not really like the sexiest location. You know, when you tell people Lexington, Kentucky, they're like,
what's in Lexington? Right. But when you get to Lexington, we had so many people say, I would come back here. If you do this live event again and you just kept it here, that would be amazing. And I would probably come back every time because it's such a charming city. It has so much culture. It has, it's just an amazing place. A lot of stuff is going on. And so I think that was a really big success having it in Lexington.
Yeah, I loved that. The next thing that I wanted to talk about that was really good, I'm going to the first day. And on the first day, we have like a little welcome reception. And the thing that I loved about this year's welcome reception is that last year I felt like everyone sort of wanted to flock to us. Like everyone wanted to talk to us because, you know, that's the person they felt like they knew.
Or they can't, yeah, because you hear us every week. You talk to us on the podcast. Basically, we're in your car. We're walking down the street with you on your walk while you're walking your dog. You're at the gym together. And it really did feel that way. Like 100 people only wanted to talk to me and Jocelyn.
But this year, we came in, we did like a little toast. We had a band, which was really cool. And we came up and did a toast on the microphone. We had like champagne and sparkling cider. And, you know, we did a little toast and welcomed everyone to the event. And then we were like, okay, we're going to come over here. And if you guys want to take a picture with us or like say hi or whatever, we'll be over in this area. And people did come and they did come and get a picture with us. But there were a lot of people who
and then
did
they
not.
Jumped. And the people who did were like, hey, let me get a quick picture. And then I got to go talk to so-and-so. And it really, when we wrote down the idea for Flip Your Life Live, we wanted this not to just be another conference, not to just be another place where there's millions of speakers and stuff like that. Those events are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And we may even do some of that in the future. But we wanted this to be the flipped lifestyle family reunion. We wanted it to feel that way. And, half the attendees that came this year came back from they went last year as well. And it really felt that way. It felt like people were coming back to see people that they missed from last year. Or, we did a lot of live trainings before the event. We had icebreaker sessions where we talked to almost every single person that was coming and we helped the community get to know each other better. And you could feel so much comfort in the room on the first night. I was really proud of that our community, you walked in and nobody saw a stranger. Everybody was hugging each other. My mom and dad were running around and talking to people and introducing people.
They had a ball.
And someone was nervous to come up and get their picture with us. And my mom grabbed her by the hand and said, you come right up here and I'm going to put you right beside him. And she made her cut line. My mom
she just skipped over the line.
Over the line. There was like 20 people waiting. And she just walks in the front and my mom goes, Shane, this is so-and-so. And they were a little nervous to come up here. So you go ahead and take your picture with them first. Okay. And so she goes back and, it was just such a comfortable environment. Like how many times have you walked into a room and you didn't know anybody at a live event? You were nervous. You were scared. And it was just a really proud moment for me on how deep the bonds and relationships in our actual community are.
And I actually felt a little bit sad when I came home because there were some people that I didn't even get to talk to because, they had come last year and I guess they thought, like we already have a picture together or whatever, which is totally fine. I mean, I wasn't mad about it or anything. But then I got home and I was like,
I didn't get to see them.
I didn't talk to so-and-so.
I didn't get to hug to so-and-so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Like I loved it that people were there to hang out with each other. Another thing that was really cool that I liked about this year's event was that some of our community members have sort of come up in the spotlight. So people sort of know them and they're sort of like little mini celebrities in people's minds. And I loved that. It was so cool. We had on Friday night, we had like a working dinner and this year we had table leaders. So we asked certain people in the community to be a table leader. And that was awesome. Like people came to them. They didn't even really care if they talked to us.
Well, we walked in. We had a VIP dinner for our VIP ticket holders before the event, and we got to talk to them a little bit. And then we walked into the working dinner to, because we go in and we help people at this thing.
We were there till 11 p.m.
We were there till 11 o'clock. I was standing there, at the end. And it was hilarious because when we first walked in, I just started doing a Facebook Live, and like everyone was so focused on table leaders and and like people were head down on their laptops doing work like of everything we had talked about during the day. And like nobody even noticed we came in for like 20 or 30 minutes. So like it took kind of the pressure off of us a little bit, I think, this year to have people in the community. But like we said earlier, we have people doing incredible things in the community. People have started coaching other business owners. People are going into the hundreds and hundreds of memberships. We've actually been doing a little informal survey, going through the success stories in the community, going through and asking people what they're doing. And we're starting to see like tens of thousands of memberships being sold through the community. The ripple effect from the Flip Your Life community is expanding out in ways we never could have even imagined. And as these people have these success stories, they, like Jocelyn said, they become little celebrities in the community as well. So that was really cool to see. And that wasn't there last year either.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things for sure. Another thing is that I went on stage by myself and I didn't die. I actually did it twice.
Yep, Jocelyn did awesome. I mean, it was unbelievably good. How awesome that was. Last year, the lesson we learned is we were on stage pretty much every time together, and it was exhausting. It was hard to figure out exactly who talked when.
And my almost 40-year-old back was killing me at the end of 3 days.
Yes, right? Yeah, so it was really, really hard to do that. So we split it up this year. We also changed our format where we would talk for 30 minutes, and then we would mastermind. People would mastermind with others in the room for 30 minutes. We would come back out for Q&A, and then we would work on the thing that we just did. And, man, that learn, plan, ask, do format really, really was exceptional. Like, people made so much progress. One time I was talking on stage, and out of nowhere, someone jumped up and screamed, "I just made a sale!" Like they had sold a member. Like right in the middle, I just stopped and looked over, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome, cool!" And like, so people were actually doing things. We challenged the whole room to go out and do a Facebook Live on their Facebook page.
And there were so many sales
sales off of that. So just a lot of cool things were happening at the event, and it was really super successful and good. So
the last thing that I want to talk about, there were so many good things, but I do want to bring this one up. One of my favorite parts of the entire event was we had some awards. So we give awards to our community for different reasons, and we had given several awards to some people who have really made great strides in their membership this year. But one particular person, our member of the year,
Kathy Martin,
Miss Kathy Martin, it was so funny because Shane had started reading. He didn't say her name yet. He was saying, this person started out and they were kind of struggling.
They struggled for like 2 years, and they, finally got a first sale, and then they've crossed over 100 sales, and it's amazing.
And so I could see her, I'm kind of watching her out of the corner of my eye. I don't want to stare at her because I don't want her to know for sure it's her. But I could see her, like, at first she's sort of like nonchalant, not really paying attention. And then, like, as he goes on, I could see her posture kind of change. She's like, "Is this me? Is he talking about me?" And so anyway, the next thing you know, we call her name. And I mean, she's just so shocked and so appreciative. And she comes up. But the thing about Kathy is that she had actually bought a ticket to our event kind of late. And I couldn't understand why she wasn't coming because, I mean, she's one of our like top fans, top members. She comes to everything that we do. She's a part of everything that we do, and she wasn't coming. And I was like, wow, why is Kathy not coming to this event? So what she told us on a member call is that she had waited for such a long time because she had planned to do a couple of other things that day. She's a big Old Dominion country music fan, as am I, and they were doing a concert in her area the same weekend, so she had planned to go to that. But when we announced that we were not doing a live event next year, she was like, "Oh, I have to go."
So she basically cancels out this Old Dominion concert that she's going to with her husband, and she chooses us, Shane and Jocelyn, and Flip Your Life Live over this concert, right? And she was telling us this on a member call.
So a member call, like probably about a month before the event, she tells us, she's like, "Guys, this was such a hard decision, but I chose to come to the event. I had to give up Old Dominion. Like, I decided not to go." And so while we're on this member call, Shane hates it when I do this, but while we're on this member call, I start typing because my mind starts thinking, okay, she's missed Old Dominion, so how can I make this up to her?
So we bring her up on stage, we give her the member of the year, and basically we said, "Hey, Kathy Martin, member of the year." Everybody gives her a standing ovation. Everyone loves Kathy because she's such a grinder. She's relentless. She's persistent. Like, she never gives up, and it's just such an inspiring thing to watch her build her own business. That everybody just loves Kathy. And so we bring her up there, we give her the thing, we say, "We have one more thing for you," and we tell everybody this story. Kathy chose Flip Your Life Live over Old Dominion. So we thought, I wonder if Old Dominion is going to be anywhere near Kathy again. And it turns out they were going to be near them. They have a concert in December. So Jocelyn ordered Kathy tickets to Old Dominion, and we surprised her on stage. We were like, hey, we want to give you tickets because we want you to have your cake and eat it too. We want you to be able to come to Flip Your Life Live, to hang out with your family, hang out with your community, and, change your life and do all those things. But we don't want you to miss your favorite band either. So we gave her tickets, and there's a video of it on our Facebook page.
We need to cut out this video and put it on this podcast.
That's true. That's true.
We haven't gotten it back yet, but when we do, we will do that.
Yeah, we'll try to get the audio and we'll play that at some point. Like, because it's amazing. Her mouth drops. Like, she goes, what? Like, 'cause you can hear it so loud, like on the audio. And but it was really cool because
that was the best moment of the whole event.
By event, like everyone
that made the event.
Everyone like gasps and starts cheering, and like we look down. I looked down. There were people crying in the front row, and that was awesome. That was amazing.
Yeah, so that was my favorite part of the event for sure. So there are so many other things I could get into, but let's move on for the sake of time.
Yeah. All right, so that's the good things about the event. Let's talk about the bad things that happen. Nothing is perfect. It ain't got to be perfect, but it's not perfect, and sometimes things can get in the way. So for me, I think the bad part of the event was not the event itself, not anything that went wrong. I mean, there's always hiccups in any kind of event of this size. You've got a lot of moving parts behind the scenes, a lot of stuff going on. But just the opportunity cost of the last year is probably the biggest thing I would say that is the worst thing about the event. We love the event. The event makes mountains move for 100 people that are in the room, right?
And there's no substitute for being face to face.
There's not.
I mean, there's really, really not.
But we noticed definitely some drops in some things this year. Our business grew this year financially. Revenue grew. The membership is up, but it grew a lot slower than we wanted to. We didn't really have time to do as many webinars as we wanted to. We didn't have time to go out and work on our marketing as much because, running a live event for 100 people where you're doing all the content and leading the entire team really sucks up a lot of bandwidth, guys. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, people show up for the event and they go home. But Jocelyn and I have been thinking about this event every day of our life for the last 2 years. We've spent almost $250,000 on this live event. It costs hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to rent hotels and get AV and buy food and coordinate everybody. And, it has really just pretty much taken over our life for the last 2 years, which, we always tell our kids, if you choose one thing, you lose another. And we really felt the opportunity cost of the event, both personally and professionally this year from doing Flip Your Life Live at this scale.
Yeah, and so basically what we've decided is for right now, until we have a team in place to help us take some of this burden off of us, we are probably not going to do this large-scale event again for a while because, we have to take so much time out selling tickets. That's the thing, is like once you commit to the hotel or the venue, you have to sign a contract, and that means that you're responsible for those costs.
If you have the event or not.
Yeah, so like...
Period.
Even if no one shows up and you've signed the contract and it's past a certain date, you have to pay for it. So, that was really hard. It puts a lot of pressure on you to try to get the event sold. And then, we don't want it to be an imposition as far as cost goes on our audience. So we try to make it as close to the cost as possible. We pretty much make $0 on this large scale event because it all goes to hotel, it all goes to AV, to photography, to, all of the things that make an event successful. You have to pay for. It's all very expensive.
Yeah, and also too, like, we want the event to be exceptional. Jocelyn and I are, we strive for excellence in everything we do. Not perfection, but excellence. We want it to be amazing.
Speak for yourself. I strive for
Jocelyn
perfection.
strives for both. Yeah, she's a perfectionist. But like, we want this event to be life-changing for people. And Jocelyn and I put our heart and soul into every word that's said on stage. And we literally plan it minute by minute. I've got a spreadsheet that shows every minute of the event from the time we wake up till the time we go to sleep for 72 straight hours.
Like at 8:51, the song plays.
Yes. Like, I mean, literally that, we think about the music that's playing during certain events so that it's inspiring and it's good and people
were hating on my country. I didn't like that.
Yeah, some people.
That was a bad thing.
Dog the country music. So
I'm looking at you, Paul.
That's right, Paul. You know who you are. All right. But, we put a lot of effort into this year round. Jocelyn and I, we did trainings every week for 16 straight weeks leading up to the event. Plus, we got together and did icebreaker sessions where we introduced people to each other. We met people.
Find me another live event that does all that.
Yeah, so we had some people told us they got more out of this live event before they showed up in Lexington than any live event they had ever been to in the past. And that's great. That's amazing. But, man, what an amazing piece of capital. It takes so much time out of our schedule that it makes us neglect other things. Like we may have not spent as much time in the community as we wanted to spend.
It was hard for us to schedule podcasts.
It was hard for us to schedule a podcast. I don't think we had a single sales webinar for almost 6 months this year because every ounce of our time was focused on making this live event the best possible thing for the people that were showing up in this community. And it just took so much time, guys. Like, and we don't begrudge that. Like,
no, there are no regrets.
No, we signed up for this, but what we realized, like Jocelyn said, is it's a miracle that we did it. With this twice with as few people as possible as on our team right now. So this is an event that's almost a business in itself now. And we want to revisit this. I'm thinking we could probably circle back around maybe in 2021. We kind of
never say never.
Never say never. And we kind of like the Olympics feel of it. Like it's not every year, so that makes it just a little bit more special.
And it was fun, y'all. I mean, I had hair and makeup. I wake up in the morning and just roll out of bed and somebody comes and like fixes my hair and my makeup. I had somebody help me choose my clothing. I mean, we had security this year.
Oh, that's a whole other story. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so like it's a great event. It's fun, but like just being real and raw, we're tired, like we're exhausted, and and also just financially, like it's just like when we look at it compared to other things, it's just hard to justify it right now.
Yeah,
so,
and money is not everything. I mean, I'm not saying that because it's not profitable is why we're not doing it.
But money makes the mission. If we're not profitable, we're not in business, and you're not getting the Flipped Lifestyle podcast every week.
But it's very difficult for us to throw so much into something that we're basically having no return from.
Yeah. So,
well, not a significant financial return. Let me put it that way. There are returns. I mean, certainly people are forming masterminds. People are making progress in their business. Those are returns that are amazing, and it's the reason that we do what we do. But it also has to be profitable.
Yeah. So anyway, that was some of the bads. The opportunity costs, I think, was the biggest thing. So we're gonna regroup. We're gonna have some meetings next year talking about how to do the event. I think that we probably need people on our team who only handle our live events. So we want to grow our team a little bit more in the digital realm first. We're going to hire a few people next year. We're going to be reaching out to our podcast audience and our Flip Your Life community. Jocelyn and I were talking last week, I think, about how we really would love to hire people from the Flip Your Life community, people that get our mission, our values, who know our brand. So keep an eye on your inbox. If you're not on our email list, go to flippedlifestyle.com, sign up for one of our free trainings, get on our email list. When we start hiring next year, we're going to be asking our audience to apply first. We're going to be asking you, our Flipped Lifestyle listeners. We're going to be asking our Flip Your Life community. And we're going to be opening the door for you guys to join our team. And once we get, a couple of positions hired where we really know we need people in the digital space, we may be looking at people to build out a live event team who's going to handle our live performances. We might speak some more. We might do some smaller events. Jocelyn's wanting to do a cruise. We're wanting to do, and then maybe circle back around and doing this big event. But we really need people to do that for us and handle that year round, so that we don't have to. We just have to show up and lead, and that's kind of where we're going with that.
Yeah, and that's really another conversation for another day, but we're very excited about the future. We have a lot of opportunity right now. We're starting to make actual hires. We've never done that before. We mostly
like full-time, only work for us, go to bed, sleeping, eating, and breathing Flipped Lifestyle just like we do. Real jobs with insurance and benefits and things like that. So this is a new territory for us.
We're a little scared, but we're excited. So we'll talk much more about that on a future episode. Maybe that'll be our next solo episode, is just talking about kind of how we're thinking about building our team and things like that.
All right, hold on. I got another story about the live event that I've got to tell. So we had security this year, as Jocelyn mentioned earlier, because, it wasn't really the people in the room. We weren't worried about anything. But when you have tens of thousands of people listening to you and everyone knows where you're going to be at a certain time and what you're going to be doing and where you're going to be at, that can be a little scary because we get some weird messages sometimes. There's some people out there.
Especially in Lexington, I mean, people are not expecting people to do anything. And, we didn't think anything was going to happen. But
you never know.
Just in case. And we had our kids, too. That's another thing we forgot to mention. Yeah, our kids were there.
Isaac and Anna Jo came on stage with us. And we just wanted to make sure that we had a secure environment, in case, someone was crazy. So no one was crazy. Everybody was amazing. And nothing happened except at the working dinner about 11:30 at night. I'm wobbling. I'm so tired. our good friend in the community, Dan Decker, and I'm saying Dan because he's our friend. Him and his wife Rebecca have done some amazing things in their business, and we've just gotten to know them really well. Dan comes up to me and says, "Hey man, you know what would be awesome is because we were doing this contest on who could record the best videos because we wanted to do a highlight video of all of the people at the event. Like you film it, you put it in Dropbox, we're going to have somebody edit it, and it'll be a cool little fun game that we can play." So Dan goes, "Hey, I'm going to go out. There's this water fountain, this big fountain in downtown Lexington. I'm going to start walking there, walk all the way into the hotel, all the way through the hotel, all the way up on stage to see you and Jocelyn and stop at the Flip Lifestyle sign on the stage." And this is
it's a time lapse.
It's a time lapse video. And he's like, "This will be amazing." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds amazing, dude. You should do that." So this was at 11:30 at night. I'm tired. I wake up in the morning. I don't think anything of it. I forgot about it. I didn't even know he said this. And he didn't tell me when he was going to do it, just that he was going to do it.
And you know Shane, he's like, "Oh yeah,
do it, man.
That
Full speed ahead, bro. Let's go."
Yeah, so he doesn't tell anyone about
Doesn't tell anyone to do it. So I see the whole crowd starts to stir, and out of the corner of my eye, I see the security guy get up and start like walking rapidly toward the stage, right in the middle of a presentation.
So Shane's on his side, and I'm on Dan's side. So I see Dan like start approaching us, but I'm like, "What is going on?" So I have no clue.
So everyone, someone says, "What's he doing?" I hear someone say that. "What's he doing?" And I see Dan walking toward the stage, and I see the security guy flanking us, coming toward it. And this guy's his name was James, and he was 6'5", like could rip my head off if he wanted to and go bowling with it later. You know, like.
And James does not know that Dan is our friend or anything.
He doesn't
like
know.
That.
He doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't know what's happening. So I see Dan start taking a step onto the stage, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" I remembered at that moment that he had told me that last night, and I'm like, "He's going to die. James is going to kill him." And so everyone in the crowd is like, "Stopped. No one knows what's going on." And I said out loud, I said, "Wait, I know what's going on." So Dan comes up and films it, and he goes down, and like. I talked to James after he goes, "Oh my gosh, I was about to take that guy out." And I sent a message to Dan. I said, "Dan, you almost died on stage at Flip Your Life Live because we just a miscommunication." It was like if the funny thing was our security was sitting on one side of the stage, and Dan luckily came in the door on the other side of the stage, because if he had came right in front of him, I could just picture him.
There probably wouldn't have been time.
Oh my gosh, he would have been like taken out, put in an arm bar, drug into the back, and like I was like, "Oh my gosh, we almost killed Dan." And so, oh my gosh, it was unbelievable. Like it was the weirdest, most surreal thing, because I was like, our friend almost died because of the security. So,
well, he said that sometimes you have to take risk to get great art.
That's what he said. Yeah, sometimes I'm not afraid to go out and get the art, is what Dan said. So, so Dan, we love you, and we're so glad that you didn't die. And anyone else of one of our live events, please help us inform security that you'll be filming. We need to talk about that more.
So there was one other bad thing before we move on. I did have to, as we say in the South, get a little ugly with the hotel, because we wanted a very Southern cuisine experience. And if you came to the event last year, you know that our food was like very, very good.
Like 4-star Southern fried.
Yeah, that hotel in Nashville, like they really took care to make sure we were happy. This hotel, the experience was a little bit different, and I was a little bit unhappy about how some of the food service went. So long story short, we've had to have some words with the management, and I'm hoping that future events will be better for other people because of it.
Yeah, we spent $40,000 on food, y'all, over 2 days.
Which is a little crazy.
Which is a little crazy, right? So when you spend $40,000 on anything, you want the top-notch, best quality, everything. And yeah, we had a dessert bar at our VIP reception, and it looked like someone had basically opened Little Debbie's and dumped them out on the table.
It was really bad.
Yeah, it was not very good.
Yeah, so that was one bad thing. In the future, I will definitely make sure that we have that
under
nailed
control.
down, and that everything's good. But it was just our first experience there, and we didn't really know anything about it, what we were doing. So that's one of those learning experiences. The cool thing is that we'll definitely be aware and ready next time.
One more thing, circling back around to team and the live event and things like that. This year and last year, we had people quit our team after the live event. So
this is the ugly of the event.
This is the ugly of the event. We said the event was really stressful, and we mean that, guys. It's hard to explain how stressful an event of this size is, but over the past 2 years, we have had people on our team quit right after the live event because
last year was right before the live event.
Yeah, because it was so overwhelming and so stressful for everyone involved. And the same thing happened this year. We got home, we had some people resign, and it was really, really hard because these are really good people we really respect, people we really like to work with. And, this thing basically broke them, so, and that's really stressful for us because that pushes us. We've got some single point sensitivity in our business where if someone quits, we have to start doing things for a while until we hire the next person. And it's really what sent us down this route of we've got to hire full-time people that are only in for this. They know what they're getting themselves into. We've got to learn how to lead the team better, how to be there for the team better, so that we can grow out an infrastructure that really supports what we've built. Our brand is very special. We think it's going to grow. We think it could be one of the biggest brands in podcasting someday. And we want to make sure that we've got the right people in place that are willing to go through the fires and serve the Flip Your Life community with us. We had the people that left. They were great people, awesome people,
and we have no hard feelings.
No hard feelings at all.
Totally
we get
understand.
Yeah, because it's our fault for basically hiring full-time positions as part-time employees, and we shouldn't do that. And we've learned that lesson now. But it was really stressful coming home from the event and being like, okay, well, core people on the team will no longer be working with us. I think Jocelyn actually cried when she told me, like, she was really stressed out. So
yeah, it's been interesting since we've been back. I'm exhausted anyway, and then one of our top people, she was like, I just can't do this anymore. She works another job also.
She actually looked at Jocelyn and said, this is a full-time job. This is not a part-time job. I can't do it full-time. I love my other job. I don't want to leave. She's in nursing. She's like, I do not want to leave this, but you guys have to hire someone full-time for this position and this position, this position, and this position. She was telling us exactly what the team really needed to look like to prevent the stress.
And we get it. We have no hard feelings, but right now it's just a little bit hard. I come off this event. I'm exhausted anyway. The kids have a lot of stuff going on right now, and we're now taking on pretty much multiple roles of the team ourselves. We're sort of taking it back to basics of when we first started, and it's a little more difficult to do that these days. We have a lot more balls in the air. So, if you right into customer service, you might be getting a response from me right now. So
right. Single point sensitivity too is like when you don't build your team correctly and like someone leaves and then everything just falls right back on you. The best businesses that we are learning build in redundancy to where that doesn't happen, but we have not done that to this point, and we have made that mistake, and that's our number one focus going forward, is not to ever have this happen to us again.
So just know that we too make really stupid mistakes, and we have to learn things the hard way many, many, many times.
So the last thing we're going to talk about today is just celebrating 6 years of becoming and staying self-employed. On September 27th, 2013, was that what it was?
Yep.
Yeah, we, Jocelyn and I, resigned. It was our first day at home where I will never forget the moment of us sitting on our couch in our little house, in our robes, drinking tea and coffee, laptops in our lap, and just we were self-employed. We worked for ourselves.
Kind of looked at each other like, okay, what do we do now?
What do we do now? Is this real? And we had a great day. I was texting some of my people who were in like a staff meeting, and they were like, I hate you. And like Jocelyn was outside at one point laying on a blanket reading a book. And
we normally do a whole episode on this day, but honestly, after the event, we just didn't have it in us.
I'm tired. Fine, we're self-employed. Get over it. But it really is a cool thing. And like we've been talking about our business and our vision, and we've kind of become known as the online business people. We've kind of become known as membership people, recurring revenue. We have some themes in our business, definitely, we talk about a lot. But as we were looking at each other and saying, what is the flipped lifestyle? We really define it as having control of your life and having control of your future.
Having the ability to put your family before your work.
Yeah. And, the only way that we think you can do that is becoming and staying self-employed. That doesn't necessarily mean an online business. You could have a Main Street business and you're profitable and you're making your living online. It could be, you being a virtual assistant and you're working for other people, but you control who you work with. You control your hours. You control your time. And that's a direction that we really want our brand to go. We want Flip Lifestyle to be the brand of how to become and stay self-employed. How to
We got
generate
some big plans, y'all. I've got some ideas that I'm like super excited about, but I can't work on them right now.
Yeah, so we have a lot of things that we're talking about in the business where we want to help more people do more things. We actually understand and have learned over the past year, maybe, a lot of you listening to the Flipped Lifestyle podcast may not want to start your own online business. You may not want to be the business owner. You may not want to be the quote unquote entrepreneur. That's a word that we're going to try to get away from a little bit. And we know that you just want to control your life. You want to be able to take your kids to school. You want to be able to do what we did last week and just go eat lunch with your daughter one day so you can see her during the middle of the day. We want you to be able to be there at your recitals and your ball games, and we want you to be able to make the living that you want to make. You want to have the money where you're secure and stable, and you don't have to worry about paying your bills. You don't have to worry about a recession and your boss laying you off. And that doesn't always look the same for all people. But as we go forward with the Flipped Lifestyle this year and into this new decade, there's a new decade coming up, a new year coming up in 2020. We want to tell you that it is possible to live the flipped lifestyle on your own terms. It is possible to become and stay self-employed. You can be a freelancer. You can own your own business. You can open a restaurant or a shop and use marketing to make the money come in. You can open a membership. You can do all these different things. And we want to help you do that. We want to help you become and stay self-employed. We want you to have what we have. We're sitting right now. My dog is sleeping on my comforter behind me.
Snoring.
Jocelyn's still in her pajamas, sitting in her chair across from me. And, we're looking out our window at, our property, and we're hanging out together. Jocelyn's got a dentist appointment in about 2 hours. We're about to go get in the car together. We're going to go to the dentist appointment together and hang out, and be together.
That's super cool date night.
Super cool. That's our date day for us. Yeah. But you know what? That's life, and we get to live our life, and we get to live our life together. And we just really want that for all of you guys out there too. So as we celebrate 6 years of becoming and staying self-employed, we just want to reaffirm our commitment to you that that's why we're here. We're here to help other families do the same thing. We're here to help your family do the same thing. We're here to help you change your family's future, change your family's tree, leave an inheritance for your children's children, and really, create a legacy in your own family that your kids will adopt, that your family will see and be inspired by, and to get you out of that rut that you're in, to get you out of, working for someone else. And really, Jocelyn said something earlier about hating your weekdays. We don't ever want anyone to wake up and hate a Monday. We want you to love Monday. We want you to love the weekdays. Just
or not even know what day it is. I very rarely know what day it is.
Yeah, that's how life should be lived. And we have all this opportunity available to us now. And that's why we're here. That's why we're bringing you the Flipped Lifestyle podcast. That's why we're constantly innovating and changing things to give you the best possible chance at making your dreams a reality.
All right, guys. Well, we are just about out of time for today, but we just wanted to kind of let you have a little window into what we're thinking about the future. And as the decade wraps up, kind of crazy, right? And just going forward, we're really excited about 2020 and beyond. And we're excited about new ways that we can serve you and your family and help you have the kind of life that you want. So we are excited. We hope you're excited. And we just can't wait to start this next chapter.
And there's no better way to finish this decade and start the next decade than inside the Flip Your Life community. We would love to have you guys as a part of our community. We love our community. We know the people by name. We take care of our community, and our community takes care of each other. And we would love for you to be a part of that. It really is different than anything else out there. You're not just a number. You're not just another person paying a monthly fee. You're not just another person running through some kind of magic sales funnel. We consider our community family, and we would love to have you as a part of the Flipped Lifestyle family too. So if you would like to kick off the new year, if you would like to close up this decade in style, head over to flippedlifestyle.com/free. We've got a 30-day free trial. If you want to come into the community, you want to attend a couple of our member calls, you want to go check out all the amazing training and all of the extra content that we put out, these monthly workshops that we're going to start having for our Flip Your Life members, head over to flippedlifestyle.com/free. Try it out for 30 days. Let's get you started. Let's get you moving toward freedom. Let's help you become and stay self-employed so that you can give your family that life that you want to live. That's flippedlifestyle.com/free. We cannot wait to see you inside. That's all the time we got for this week, guys. Until next time, get out there take action and do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.
Bye.